Well, we're glad to be here today and to start this class on the doctrine of the sanctuary.
Drago mi je da sam danas s vama da počnemo ovaj predmet, doktrina svetinje.
This is one of my very favorite topics in the Bible.
Ovo je jedna od mojih najomiljenijih tema u Bibliji.
And I hope that we will find much joy together during these next 25 hours.
I nadam se da ćemo imati istinsku radost kroz ovih 25 sati koliko ćemo imati.
I know you are required to be here.
Znam da ste obavezni da budete ovdje.
But I hope that we will be filled with such eagerness and enthusiasm for this subject that you will want to be here as well as have to be here.
Dakle, ali ja se nadam da će ovaj predmet doneti takav entuzijazam i radost da ćete vi želeti da budete ovdje, a ne morati.
I'm glad to be here. I have been trying for 3 years to get to Belgrade.
Drago mi je da sam ovdje, 3 godine sam i ja čekao na ovo.
My brother Alexander invited me some 3 years ago, and we've been trying to find a time that worked into our schedule.
Dakle, ja sam ga pozvao 3 godine ranije i trudili smo se da nađemo neki plan pogodan.
And my wife will be here next week to teach the second half of this course.
A sljedeće sedmice će i moja supruga biti ovdje da vas podučava drugi deo ovog predmeta.
I'm very glad to see many women that are
Drago
in
mi
the
da vidim
seminary
mnoge
here.
devojke među vama, žene.
My wife is the very first theologian to teach theology at the theological seminary at Andrews University.
Moja žena je prva žena koja predaje teologiju na Andrewsu.
And so we are eagerly looking forward to having many women involved in ministry here in this part of the world.
Tako da nam je drago da u ovom delu sveta vidimo tolike devojke, žene uključene u službu.
I've read much about your country and its history.
Čitao sam dosta o istoriji vaše zemlje,
Especially the last few years as you went through many struggles.
posebno posljednjih godina dok ste prolazili kroz probleme.
And it's good to see that despite our lack of support from America sometimes, that you still are welcoming Americans to come here.
Dakle, uprkos tome što ponekad mi Amerikanci nismo dobrodošli ovdje, ipak nas tretirate dobro.
I apologize on behalf of my country for the things we have not done right here. So,
Izvinjavam se u ime svoje zemlje za sve stvari koje nismo dobro uradili.
but I'm thankful that our message transcends politics, and we don't have to deal with politics here.
Naša poruka jednostavno prevazilazi politiku, mi se time ne bavimo.
Just a little more about myself so that you will know
Samo nekoliko
something
reči
about
o meni, dakle, da znate ko sam.
I have 2 children,
Imam 2 dece,
a daughter who's just gotten married
ćerku koja se upravo udala
and just finished college and
I
her
upravo-
master's degree at the seminary.
i upravo je završila fakultet i magistrat na teološkom fakultetu.
And she finished her master's in Old Testament with a systematic theology minor, just like my wife and I have.
Dakle, završila je Stari Zavet, a ovaj manji deo je sistematska teologija, kombinacija onog što oni predaju, otac i majka.
But she wants to be a biologist. She's taking now her master's in biology.
Ali ona hoće bude i biolog, tako da uzima magistrat iz biologije sada.
Some of you may have heard of the struggles even within our church over the issues of creation and science and faith.
Znate već borbe unutar crkve oko problema stvaranja, dakle odnos nauke i vere.
And when the skeptical scientists among us are questioning the doctrine of creation sometimes,
I kada skeptici, dakle naučnici, postavljaju pitanje o
my
doktrini o
daughter
stvaranju,
wants to be able to open the Hebrew Bible and say, here's what it says in the Hebrew Bible.
moja ćerka hoće da bude toliko sposobna da kada otvori jevrejsku Bibliju kaže evo, to jevrejska Biblija kaže.
My son is in college right now, just graduating from college this year,
Moj sin je na fakultetu, samo što ne završi fakultet, dakle 4. godine,
and his life is music.
a njegov život je muzika.
He has his own musical group
Ima svoju grupu
that travels around the United States.
koja putuje po Americi.
He keeps me young at heart by playing basketball
On me održava mladim, igramo košarku
and mountain biking.
i idemo biciklom na planinu.
And my daughter and I love to go cross-country skiing in our woods behind our house.
A ćerka i ja volimo da idemo na cross country skiing.
Cross-country skiing, yes.
Oh, okay.
Ja.
Dakle, to je ovo trčanje na skijama, da.
And I love mountains.
I volim planine.
And you will hear more about mountains as we talk
Čućete još o planinama
about the sanctuary
dok budemo govorili o svetinji.
that originally was, and according to Scripture, was built in the heavenly sanctuary on the mountain of the Lord.
Dakle, originalno svetinja je bila sagrađena na gori Gospodnjoj, planini.
So God loves mountains too.
Tako da Bog također voli planine.
All right, enough about me. Let's get into the Word.
Dosta o meni, idemo u reč.
I understand we have until 1 o'clock today, is that right?
Yes. Dakle, danas radimo do 1.
And so we will get introduced to the topic today.
Danas ćemo napraviti jedan uvod u temu.
And then starting on Sunday again, we will have our next session. So
U nedelju imamo sljedeći sat isto u 9.
I'd like to give you an overview to the first couple of hours as to where we're headed throughout the week together.
Dakle, evo jednog pregleda gdje ćemo ove sedmice ići, dakle šta ćemo raditi.
Let's start, however, with a question.
Hajde da počnemo s nekim pitanjem.
And I hope you don't mind, I do not like the style of just lecturing. I like to have feedback.
Ja ne volim samo da predam, ja volim i povratnu informaciju.
And the language is not going to be a problem because you can translate this way as well as that way, right?
Jezik neće biti problem jer u oba smjera možemo prevoditi.
So let's first do some this way. So
Hajde malo odavde da
I'd
čujemo.
like to ask you a question.
Iz ovog smjera, pitanja.
If you just had one request to make of God,
Kad biste imali samo jednu stvar da zamolite Boga,
just one thing that you desired to receive from Him,
samo jednu stvar da od njega dobijete,
what would it be?
šta bi to bilo?
Don't stop and think for 2 hours to give me a philosophical answer.
Nemojte 2 sata razmišljati o filozofskom odgovoru.
Just what's the first thing that
Šta je
comes to
prva stvar koja vam pade na pamet?
you? This is not a trick question. There are no wrong answers to this.
Nema ovdje pogrešnih odgovora, ovo nije trik.
You have that word trick, huh?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, what would you say? Just one request.
Šta biste rekli? Jedan zahtev, jedna molba.
Okay.
Dakle, Ruben je rekao sila da se ne greši.
What else?
Šta još?
Very good.
Love.
Love. All right. What's the word? Luba?
Ljubav.
Luba. Okay. I have to learn that.
Yes,
For my
yes, yes.
All right.
Handouts. Ok, ove.
Thank you very much. All right. So, power to overcome sin, love. What else?
Šta još? His will for us.
His will for us, to do His will. Okay, good. Or to learn His will for us.
Eternal life.
Eternal life. Wonderful. These are all spectacular answers. Anyone?
Super su odgovori. Ima li još neko? What God particularly asked from me to do in this life?
Okay, to understand what He wants me to do in this life. All right, wonderful. I think we could go to everyone and you would have a slightly different answer and they would all be good answers.
Dakle, sve su to dobri odgovori, ali kod svakog možemo malo nešto izmeniti.
But I'd like to point you to a inspired answer to this question.
A želeo bih da vas sad uputim na nadahnuti odgovor na ovo pitanje.
Because there's one Bible writer that answered this question.
Jer postoji jedan biblijski autor koji odgovara na ovo pitanje.
And it's a surprising answer.
I zanimljiv je odgovor.
It's not one that any of you gave.
Nije ni jedan od onih koji ste vi dali.
In fact, whenever I've asked this question, I've never heard a Seventh-day Adventist give this answer.
Kad god postavim pitanje, nisam još čuo da je adventista dao taj odgovor.
It's found over in the book of Psalms,
Psalmima,
the 27th Psalm.
27. psalm.
Now we will find that actually many of you gave an answer that relates to this answer, but it's not exactly this answer.
Svi odgovori koje ste dali su u vezi sa ovim, ali nisu tačno ovo što piše.
The 27th Psalm was written when David was a fugitive, fleeing from King Saul.
27. psalm je napisan u kontekstu Davidovog bežanja od Saula.
And he's still filled with confidence despite the fact that Saul is chasing him.
On je još uvek veran iako ga Saul goni.
And so he says here in the first 3 verses, and why don't you just read the first 3 verses of
I
Psalm
prva 3
27.
stiha ćemo pročitati u našem prevodu. Gospod je videlo moje i spasenje moje, koga da se bojim. Gospod je krepost života mojega, koga da se strašim. Ako navale na me zlikovci da pojedu telo moje, protivnici i neprijatelji moji, spotaći će se i pašće. Ako protiv mene vojska u oko stane, neće se uplašiti srce moje. Ako se na me rat digne, ja se ni onda neću bojati.
So after these words of confidence, then he makes this wonderful statement in verse 4.
Posle ovih reči pouzdanja ide 4. stih, te predivne reči.
One thing I have desired of the Lord, and that will I seek.
Za jedno samo molim Gospoda, samo to ištem.
Now what's David's one thing?
A šta je Davidova ta jedna?
His single-minded quest in life.
Jedan jedini zahtev u životu.
He says, what?
Šta kaže?
That I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the
Da
days of my life.
Živim u domu Gospodnje sve dane života svoje.
Now in David's day, what was the house of the Lord?
U Davidovo vreme šta je bio taj dom Gospodnji? Sanctuary.
The sanctuary. And so he wanted to be at the sanctuary.
On je voleo da bude u svetinji, vidite.
This was his focus in life.
To je bio njegov fokus životni.
He wanted to be there all the days of his life, all the time.
Sve dane životne, svo vreme.
Well, some may say, well, David only was focusing upon the sanctuary here because he was out in the wilderness. He was fleeing from King Saul.
Neki kažu David ovdje ima na umu svetinju zato što je u progonstvu, beži od cara Saula.
We have this saying in English, I don't know if you have it here also, that says, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Dakle, izreka na engleskom kaže da odsustvo čini srce čežnjivim. Možda bi mogli tako prevesti.
If you've been away from something for a long time, then you want to be there.
Ako ste dugo odsutni od nečeg ili nekog, onda želite da budete tamo.
And David was out there in the wilderness being chased by Saul, and so he didn't have the chance to be at the sanctuary.
A on je u progonstvu u pustinji i sad nije imao priliku da bude u svetinji.
And so some may say, well, he just was lonely for the sanctuary.
I neki kažu on je jednostavno bolovao za svetinjom, on je bio usamljen.
This was just one phase of his life while he was out there in the wilderness.
To je samo jedna faza njegovog života dok je bio u pustinji.
Well, is that the right answer?
Da li je to pravi odgovor?
Let's fast forward in David's life.
Hajde da malo pregledamo njegov život brzo.
Press the fast forward key upon the picture of David as it moves
Pritisnemo
through
dugme
Scripture.
za ubrzanje za njegov život.
And we see that King Saul dies on the mountains of Gilboa.
Vidimo kako car Saul umire na, kako je kod nas prevod, Gavaja, na Gavajskim planinama.
And David becomes crowned king, first at Hebron.
I David postaje car u Hebronu
For 7 years.
7 godina.
And then he's crowned king in Jerusalem after he conquers the city of
U
Jerusalem.
Jerusalimu kad ga je pokorio još.
Then he has to fight the Philistines and some of the other enemies that are around about.
Onda se bori sa Filistejima i drugim neprijateljima.
Finally, he's got peace in his kingdom.
Konačno mir u carstvu.
And so what does he do?
I šta onda čini?
He goes to the prophet Nathan.
Ide kod proroka Natana.
And what does he tell Nathan he wants to do?
I šta kaže Natan, šta hoće da učini?
2 Samuel chapter 7.
2. Samuilova 7.
I want to build God a house.
Ja želim da sagradim Bogu kuću, dom.
He's been living in a tent for some 400 years and he does not have a permanent home.
Dakle, Bog živi u šatoru, privremenom i nema stalni dom.
His mind is still on the sanctuary.
Njegov je fokusiran još na svetinju.
And Nathan says, go ahead, David.
A Natan kaže, idi, čini tako.
But that night, Nathan is told by God, no, David cannot build the house.
Te noći Bog je kazao Natanu, ne, David ne može sagraditi taj dom.
And so Nathan has to tell David, your hands are filled with blood, you're a warrior.
I Natan mora da kaže Davidu, tvoje ruke su pune krvi, ti si ratnik.
And God wants his house to be called a house of peace.
a Bog želi da njegov dom bude nazvan domom mira.
And so your son, Shlomo, or Solomon, which means peace, he will build the house.
A tvoj sin Šlomo ili Solomon će sagraditi taj dom. To znači mir, Šlomo.
Now, have you ever noticed how God has a sense of humor?
Da li ste primetili da Bog ima i smisao za humor?
He especially likes to use a play on words.
On naročito voli da se igra rečima.
I have one of my colleagues that I hope you will have teach sometime over here by the name of Roy Gain.
Ja imam kolegu poznatog za koga se nadam da će i ovdje nekad predavati, Roy Gain.
He's written a book on the sanctuary, which is actually put on the web now, so you can pull it down and get the whole book for free.
Dakle, jedna njegova knjiga koju je napisao Svetinje je trenutno na internetu i možete čitati slobodno.
And I'll give you the address for that.
A daću vam ja adresu tokom predavanja.
But he can hardly speak 10 words without speaking a pun, some kind of play on words.
On teško da 10 reči izgovori, a da se ne igra rečima.
And God here is playing on words.
I Bog se igra rečima.
With humor to David.
Na jedan humorističan način s Davidom.
God says, David, you can't build me a house.
Kaže, Davide, ti mi ne možeš sagraditi dom.
But guess what, David?
Ali pogodi šta?
I'm going to build you a house.
Ja ću tebi sagraditi dom.
What?
Šta je ovo?
Well, the word house in Hebrew, bait, means two different things.
Jer jevreska reč za kuću, bajt, znači dve različite
It means
stvari.
a building
Znači zgradu,
and a dynasty.
ali i dinastiju.
And so God says, you want to build me a building, I'm going to build you a dynasty.
Ti hoćeš da mi sagradiš zgradu, ali ja ću ti sagraditi dinastiju.
And from your royal lineage will come the Messiah himself.
I iz tvoje kraljevske loze carske će doći Mesija.
And David is overwhelmed with awe that God would entrust the Messiah to his line.
A David je jednostavno preneražen ovim otkrivenjem da će od njega doći Mesija.
Well, David can't build God a house, so he goes on to other ideas that he might have for his single-minded quest in life.
Dakle, pošto ne može da sagradi dom, David ima nešto drugo sad na umu.
Is that right?
Da li je to ispravno sad?
Don't let me get away with telling you something that's an error here.
Ne dozvolite da vam kažem nešto što je pogrešno.
David says, I can't build the house, but what could he do?
David kaže, ne mogu da sagradim dom, ali šta mogu? Šta je David uradio? Yeah, preparation.
Preparations, okay. So he throws his whole energies into preparing for the house of the Lord.
Celu energiju, silu je posvetio toj pripremi za dom Gospodnji.
Now tell me, what kind of preparations did he make?
Šta je to on činio? Kakva je to priprema?
List them off here for me.
Ajde, izlistajte ih za mene.
You don't need to raise your hand, just
Ne morate da
say
dižete
them
ruku,
out.
samo kažete. Oh, cedars from...
Okay, the cedars from Lebanon that
Yeah,
came
from Lebanon.
floating down the Mediterranean Sea to Joppa and then brought up to Jerusalem.
Dakle, u Jafu po Jerusalimu, ona balvani ili drva.
What else?
Šta još? He built a strategy for building.
Okay, the strategy. Actually, God gave him a plan, a pattern
U
from
stvari,
from
Bog
the
mu je dao
heavenly-
plan.
the heavenly pattern.
Da, taj
Good.
nebeski model.
Okay, what else?
Šta još?
The gold and the silver.
Zlato, srebro.
That's right. So the precious metals,
Dakle,
the wood. What else was the building materials?
šta su još bili šta je još bio materijal za gradnju?
Yes, the stone. If you go
Kamenje.
to Jerusalem today,
Ako odete danas u Jerusalim,
you find that about a third of Jerusalem is hollow underneath.
trećina Jerusalima je prazna ispod.
On the east side of Jerusalem, there is an opening that's called Solomon's Quarries.
Na istočnoj strani Jerusalima nalazi se otvor gde su Solomonovi kanali.
And you go in there and you just keep going and going and going into this gigantic cave where they have cut out the big ashlar blocks that were used for the temple building.
Dakle, idete duboko dole pod zemlju u tu pećinu u kojoj su gradili kamenje za Solomonov hram.
And just one block is as wide as from here to that wall,
I samo jedan blok je odavde pa do zida,
as
dakle,
high as
profesor
up to
pokazuje,
the ceiling,
do plafona velik.
and as long as from here to the back of the room.
a dugačak je odavde pa do onog tamo drugog zida u sobi.
Just one block
Samo
that
jedan
was cut
blok.
out by David and his quarry.
Koji je David dao da se iseče, pripremi.
So quite a building activity.
To je stvarno jedna konstrukcija.
David's mind was still focused on the sanctuary.
Davidov dakle, dalje je fokusiran na svetinji, na svetinju.
What else did he do to prepare?
Šta je još radio u pripremi?
You've mentioned the materials. What else do you
Spomenuli
need
ste
for a sanctuary?
materijale. Šta je još? Dishes for...
Okay, yes, preparing the dishes, the different, made out of mostly bronze and some out of silver.
Bronzane i srebrne sudove.
Besides the material things.
Osim
what else?
materijalnih stvari. Šta još? He brought an ark.
Okay,
the
yes,
covenant.
he brought the ark from its place of location up on one of the mountains down into the city of David.
Dakle, iz jedne od mesta planine je doneo u grad Davidov taj kovčeg.
What happens
Šta se dešava
in the temple?
u hramu? Šta se dešava u hramu? Levite service.
Okay,
ministry.
so 1 Chronicles 24
Dakle, prva dnevnika 24
tells us that he prepared the 24 courses of Levites,
24
priests.
hora sveštenika je pripremio.
And besides the priests,
Osim sveštenika,
what else
Šta
happened
još?
at the sanctuary?
šta još je bilo u svetinji?
What other cultic functionaries were there?
Koja je još bogoslužbena funkcija? Sacrifice.
Okay, sacrifices. So he gathered sacrifices.
Sakupio žrtve.
What?
Priestly code, like Abiatar, the priest anointed.
Okay, yes, the anointing of the priests.
Da.
Good. What do you do? What will we do tonight besides listening to the preaching?
Šta ćemo mi raditi večeras osim što ćemo slušati propoved? Song,
Yes,
prayers.
David wrote the hymnal.
Dakle,
for
David
the
je napisao pesmaricu.
temple. At least
za službu u hramu.
99 of these 150 psalms were written by David.
Najmanje 99 od 150 napisao je David.
And so he prepares the music.
Muziku je pripremio.
In fact, the record even tells us that he invented musical instruments that would be used specifically at the
Neki kažu
sanctuary.
da je on izmislio neke muzičke instrumente koji će specifično biti u upotrebi u hramu.
So he was not only a composer, but he was an inventor.
Nije on samo bio kompozitor, nego i izumitelj.
And then he also appointed the musicians.
A onda je postavio muzičare.
288 singers.
288 pevača.
4,000 musicians who played musical instruments.
4000 muzičara.
120 trumpeters.
120 trubača.
All paid by the tithe, by the way. Paid by the tithe.
Svi su bili plaćeni desetka.
Wow. Here is a picture of David who had his full heart focused upon building the sanctuary.
Dakle, evo Davida, celo njegovo srce je u izgradnji svetinje.
And let's read a summary of David's experience
Evo jednog sažetka njegovog iskustva.
in first First Chronicles.
Prva dnevnika.
Let's see. Okay. Chapter 24, I believe.
24. glava.
Here it is. First Chronicles 24. Somehow I've lost the exact page here. There we go.
Profesor traži stranu na kojoj su.
Let's just read 2 Chronicles 3:6.
Ajde onda da pročitamo samo drugu dnevnika, 3:6. Just that verse?
Yeah, 2 Chronicles 3:6 is, oh no, here's what I was looking for. 1 Chronicles 29.
A evo, ovo sam tražio. Prva dnevnika 29.
1 Chronicles 29 and verse 1.
Prvi stih 29. glave, prva dnevnika.
David speaks to Solomon and tells him that the work is great.
David kaže Solomonu da je posao velik.
And then verse 2.
I onda drugi stih.
Now for the house of my God I have prepared with all my might.
Ja koliko mogoh, u njihovom prevodu kaže sa svom silom, snagom svojom, pripravih za dom Boga svojega.
And verse 3.
I treći.
Moreover, because I have set my affection on the house of my God.
Još iz ljubavi k domu Boga svojega.
Here gives a picture into David's heart.
To je slika njegovog srca.
He had poured his whole heart into preparations for the sanctuary.
Cijelo srce je dao za pripremu za svetinje.
His whole life was given over toward beautifying the sanctuary.
Ceo život posvećen ulepšavanju svetinje.
Well, what kind of experience did David want to have at the sanctuary?
Kakvo duhovno iskustvo je tražio David u svetinji?
When we go back to Psalm 27,
ako se vratimo u Psalam 27.
we find that David mentions several things that he wants to do at the sanctuary.
Nekoliko stvari on spominje koje želi da radi u svetinji, dakle. Njegovo iskustvo u svetinji.
The first thing he says is that he wants there to behold the beauty of the Lord.
Prva je da gledam krasotu ili lepotu Gospodnju.
And we've seen a little bit of the beauty that David put into the preparations for the sanctuary.
Nešto od te lepote smo vidjeli u ovoj njegove pripremi za svetinje.
Before we go on to the second thing that he wanted to do,
Pre nego što pređemo na drugu stvar koju želi da učini,
let's step away from David for just a minute.
da malo izađemo iz Davida za trenutak.
Was David the only one who had this kind of passion for the sanctuary?
Da li je David jedini koji ima ovakvu strast za svetinjom?
Was this just David's experience and the rest of Israel didn't really care that much and the rest of the Old and New Testament doesn't focus that much on the sanctuary?
Je li ovo samo Davidovo iskustvo, a ostatak Izraelja, pa čak i iskustvo Novog Zaveta, nije baš fokusirano na tome?
How can we measure this?
Kako da ovo izmerimo?
Well, I think one way we can measure it
Postoji
is
jedan način.
by looking at how much of the Bible is dealing with the sanctuary.
Da pogledamo koliki deo Biblije govori o svetinji.
Have you ever stopped to count how much of, let's say, the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of Moses?
Da li ste ikad zastali i razmišljali, na primjer, petoknjižje?
45 chapters I counted deal specifically with the sanctuary. The whole chapter, 45 of them.
45 celih poglavlja se bavi svetinjom.
And then in the prophets, another 45 chapters that deal with the
I u
sanctuary.
prorocima još dodatnih 45 poglavlja.
And then in the Psalms,
A onda psalmi,
as we've already pointed out, the whole book of Psalms is the hymnal for the sanctuary.
cela faktički knjiga psalama je pesmarica za svetinju.
And if you read the Psalms, you find that at least one time per psalm there is some explicit mention of the sanctuary. An average of once per psalm.
U proseku jednom po psalmu se spominje svetinja. Dakle, jednom u svakom psalmu u
At
proseku.
least I counted over 150 explicit references to the
Jer sam
sanctuary.
izračunao da ima oko 150 otvorenih izjava o svetinju u
And so the Old
psaltiru.
Testament is saturated with sanctuary materials.
Stari Zavet je dakle zasićen ovim materijalom o svetinji.
How about the New Testament?
Kako je u Novom Zavetu?
Well, when you go to the New Testament, you find that whole books are structured around the sanctuary.
Ako odete u Novi Zavet, vidjet ćete da su čitave knjige strukturisane po svetinji,
For
konceptu
example,
svetinje.
the book of Revelation.
Na primjer, otkrivenje.
We will see how it has 7 parts divided into
7
7
delova
sections.
ima otkrivenje.
And each section of the book of Revelation has an introductory scene that is a sanctuary scene.
Svaka sekcija deo otkrivenja ima uvodnu scenu koja je scena iz svetinje.
And the sanctuary becomes then the key to unlock the meaning of the book of Revelation.
Tako da je svetinja ključ za odgonetanje otkrivenja.
The book of John,
Jovan,
Gospel of John.
evanđelje.
My colleague Bill Shea has pointed out how the whole Gospel of John is structured around the festivals of Israel.
Moj kolega Bill William Shea je napravio strukturu Jovana po praznicima, 7 praznika.
And Jesus moves through one festival after another.
A Isus iz jednog
and
praznika u
fulfills them.
drugi ispunjava ih. To je Jovan, da, to je Jovan.
The Gospel of John, yes, right. When you go to the writings of Paul
Kada
and
odete
Peter,
u Pavla i Petra,
again you find it filled with sanctuary imagery.
ispunjeno je slikama o svetinji.
Jesus is the hilasterion, the mercy seat.
Isus je hilasterion, dakle
He is the
pomirilište.
laver
On je umivonica.
in Titus chapter 1.
U Titu 1, na primjer.
He is the Shekinah glory.
On je i Šekina.
He is the priest, the great high priest.
On je veliki prvosveštenik.
He is the sacrifice, the
On
lamb
je
of
žrtva,
God.
jagnje Božje.
And so you find all of the sanctuary imagery throughout the epistles.
I tako kroz poslanice pronalazite slike i svetinje.
I think I would not exaggerate to say that more is written about the sanctuary than any other subject in the Bible.
Neću preterati ako kažem da je više u Bibliji napisano o svetinji nego o bilo kom drugom predmetu.
And I think now would be a time I'd like to just pass
A
out
sad
this
je vreme
handout.
da vam dam ove papire. I think 2 students can help. Moje da pomogu samo kojih ima ih dosta. Okay. She copied on both sides.
That's all right. Just give the whole thing.
Okay. Can I have a comment on this? Because you said... Profesor je kazao da ne moramo da prevodimo. I told him that it cannot be translated or should not.
Yeah, these will not be translated because we'll be going over them here in class.
Dakle, nećemo to prevoditi jer ćemo raditi to na času.
It's only for you to get the picture of
Za vas, da dobijete sliku.
it's the one that has a number 2 on the top, right here,
Treba da ima broj 2 gore u uglu ovaj.
the front page.
To je prva strana.
This is photocopied from one of our old pioneer books written by S.N. Haskell.
To je iz jedne knjige naših pionira adventnih koji se zvao Haskell, dakle S.N. Haskell.
And Haskell illustrates how the sanctuary is actually the central hub of the whole wheel of truth, if you please.
Haskell je u stvari ovde prikazao da je svetinja centralni, kako se zove u sredini točka? Glavčina. Centralna glavčina, a ostalo je na ivici točka, dakle sve ostalo.
And the different doctrines of the Seventh-day Adventist Church and of Scripture find their focus in the sanctuary.
Da različite doktrine u stvari pronalaze svoj smisao u svetinji, adventne doktrine.
I will not ask you to learn this page, this front
Neću vas
page.
pitati da naučite to.
This is just an illustration
To je
for you
ilustracija samo.
to look up some of these texts.
Da pogledate neke tekstove.
So far we have seen that David had a focus upon the sanctuary.
Do sad smo saznali da je David imao sav svoj fokus na svetinji.
The other Bible writers had a focus upon the
Drugi
sanctuary.
biblijski autori su isto imali fokus na svetinji.
And also ancient Israel's life was focused in the sanctuary.
Naročito život celog Izraelja je bio fokusiran na svetinji.
Now I understand that here in your country maybe 2 or 3% of people go to church these days.
Razumeo sam da u vašoj zemlji mali procenat, 2-3% ljudi ide u crkvu.
And it's not much better in the United States.
Pa nije puno bolje ni u Americi.
Our church is the mall where they go to shop instead of to the place to worship.
Naša crkva je tržni centar. Dakle, više se ide u tržni centar nego u crkvu.
But in ancient Israel, the sanctuary was the center of life.
Ali za drevni Izrael svetinja je bila centar života.
Here is where they came, if they were close enough, they came every week on the Sabbath day.
Tu su oni dolazili svake subote.
They came every month on the new moons.
Svakog meseca, mladina.
And during the three festivals, the three main festivals of every year, everyone came.
I 3 velika praznika su bila kada su svi dolazili tokom godine.
Even if they lived hundreds of miles away, they traveled to the sanctuary.
Čak i ako su živjeli stotinama milja daleko, oni su putovali, dolazili u svetinju.
And sometimes it took a week of traveling just to get there and a week returning.
Nekad im je trebala 1 sedmica da dođu i sedmica da se vrate.
Those who lived at any distance took a couple of months of every year just traveling and experiencing the sanctuary festival.
Neki koji su živjeli daleko i nekoliko meseci su putovali samo da bi iskusili taj praznik.
Here is where they went to bring their sacrifices and to ask forgiveness for their sins.
Tu su prinosili žrtve i tražili oproštaj za grehe.
Here's where they brought their thank offerings for the blessings God had given them.
Žrtve zahvalnice za blagoslove koje im Bog dao.
Here is where they fellowship together as they not only worshipped but had social experiences there at the sanctuary.
Tu je bio i društveni život, ne samo obožavanje Boga.
And so the whole life of ancient Israel centered around the sanctuary.
Tako da je celokupni život drevnog Izraelja bio fokusiran na svetinju.
I'd like to point out that like David and like the other Bible writers and like ancient Israel,
ja želim da istaknem da kao David i drugi biblijski autori i drevni Izrael,
Seventh-day Adventists since 1844 have had our sights on the sanctuary.
I adventisti od 1844. imaju fokus na svetinju.
In fact, there's a very important reference that Ellen White makes in Great Controversy, page 423.
U velikoj borbi 423. strana ima jedan specifični citat.
In which she writes, "The subject of the sanctuary was the key which unlocked the mystery of the disappointment of 1844.
Predmet svetinje je dakle ključ za odgonetanje tajne razočarenja 1844.
It opened to view a complete system of truth.
Otvorio je dakle mogućnost spoznaje kompletnog sistema istine.
Connected and harmonious.
Koji je povezan i harmoničan.
Showing that God's hand had directed the great Advent movement and revealing present duty as it brought to light the position and work of his people."
Pokazujući kako je Bog vodio veliki pokret adventizma, dakle adventni pokret, i otkrivajući svakodnevne dužnosti u svetlosti ovog posla koji treba njegov narod da obavi.
So for our early pioneers, the sanctuary message became the key that unlocked a whole system of truth.
Dakle, za pionire to je bio ključ koji je otključavao ceo sistem istine.
This is what caused people like S.N. Haskell to prepare these charts.
Zato je Haskell napravio ovakvu tabelu.
Or James White to use this illustration.
Ili James White koji je koristio tu ilustraciju isto.
He compared truth to a wheel of a bicycle or of a carriage.
Dakle, James White je uporedio istinu sa točkom bicikla ili kočija.
And he said the hub of this wheel is the sanctuary message.
Glavčina tog točka je poruka o svetinji.
And all the spokes are the different other doctrines.
Žbice, ali žbice, dakle, ali postoji i na kočijama, da, specifičan naziv. To su sve adventne istine.
Anyway, and so this wheel is held together by the hub. The hub is the most important part of the wheel.
Dakle, glavčina je najvažniji deo točka. Ono drži točak.
It supports all of the
Ona
spokes that
podržava sve te žbice. Ona i drži
give
na...
the wheel its shape and its strength.
I oblikuje točak i daje mu snagu.
I may hear, I perhaps hear someone saying, but I thought Jesus was the center of our doctrine.
Ali čujem već neko kako govori, pa zar nije Isus ta?
That's right.
Jeste.
Because the sanctuary is centered in Jesus.
Jer je svetinja u Isusu.
The sanctuary message is the message about Jesus and what his work is.
Jer svetinja i poruka o svetinji je poruka o Isusu, o njegovom delu.
So they're not two different things.
Nisu dve različite stvari.
Seventh-day Adventists have a special message to give to the world about where Jesus is and what he is doing right now.
Jer adventisti imaju specifičnu vez za svet o tome šta Isus sada radi.
And he is in the heavenly sanctuary.
A on je u nebeskoj svetinji.
So the sanctuary message is a message revealing to the world a message about the Messiah.
Svetinja u stvari otkriva svetu istinu o Mesiji.
Now, as we just give this introduction here, let's see,
Uvod
we have
smo dali, dakle,
5 more minutes, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Još 5 minuta.
In the last 5 minutes of our first hour together here,
Prvog sata, u posljednjih 5 minuta ovde,
I'd like to just summarize
samo da sumiram
the three things that David wanted to experience in the sanctuary.
3 stvari koje David želeo da iskusi u svetinji.
To behold the beauty of the Lord.
Da gledam krasotu Gospodnju.
And the word in Hebrew is noam.
A jevrejski je noam,
Which means beauty.
to je lepota, ta krasota.
Something that is so lovely that it just causes you to be thrilled with it.
To je nešto toliko divno i lepo da jednostavno ste ispunjeni.
It's this kind of beauty that
To je ta
David
vrsta
wanted to experience
lepote
in the
koju je
sanctuary.
David želeo da iskusi u svetinji.
And then it says the second thing,
A onda druga stvar,
he wanted to inquire in God's temple. Last line of verse 4.
dakle posljednji deo 4. stiha, da ranim, kaže kod nas, u crkvu njegu, u njegov hram. Taj izraz ranim,
And the word to inquire, is that what it has in yours? To seek, to...
okay,
What does it
it's
mean?
a little bit different.
What does
in
it
our
mean there?
translation. It means that to be early in the morning in the sanctuary. You know?
Really? Okay. Okay. Wow, well that's the
Kod njih
noun,
je-
boker. Boker means morning.
Morning.
Interesting.
Dakle,
Okay,
to
well,
je, kod nas u prevodu ima logike, jer je boker jutro, i raniti ima logike. Međutim, u engleskom je pitati Boga, moliti se Boga.
but the verb, it's okay. This is good because the verb means
Jer
to be so eager to understand whether something is true or not.
dakle, sam glagol znači biti toliko čežnjiv za onim što je istinito.
To eagerly investigate the evidence about something.
Da čežnjivo ispitamo dokaze o nečemu.
To dig deeply, to rise up early,
Da duboko kopa, da ustanemo rano. Dobar je naš prevod.
to find out whether something is true or not.
Da pronađemo da li je nešto istina ili nije.
And so the operative word here is a quest for truth.
Tako da je ovo i u stvari potraga za istinom. Istina je taj koncept.
It's to rise up early, but why? To dig.
Ustati ujutro rano, ali zašto? Kopati u istini. Dakle, zato.
So David not only wanted an experience of beauty, but he wanted an experience of truth.
On nije želeo samo da iskusi lepotu, nego i istinu.
And then the third, actually we have to show that this whole psalm is in one of these chiastic structures.
U stvari, ceo psalam je u jednom hijazmu.
And you've all studied chiasms here before?
Studirali ste hijazam, znate.
Okay. So over here is verse 4 on this side, and it's matching one on this side. It's verse
4.
13.
13. stih su paraleli.
And here it gives us the third things that David wanted to do at the
Treća
sanctuary.
stvar koju David želeo da...
I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Goodness of the Lord.
Is that a fifth verse? Or?
Verse 13.
Oh, 13, okay.
13.
Okay. Verujem da ću vidjeti dobrotu Gospodnju na zemlji živih. 13. stih. Dakle, to je u stvari u kajazmu treća.
So I'd like to suggest that David's experience that he wanted to have at the sanctuary was a threefold experience.
Želim da vam predložim da je njegovo iskustvo bilo trodimenzionalno, dakle u 3 dimenzije ima.
He wanted to savor the beauty of the Lord.
Želeo da vidi lepotu Gospodnju, krasotu.
He wanted to dig deeply into the truth of the
Želeo je
sanctuary
da
message.
duboko kopa u istini o svetinji.
And he wanted to experience the goodness, the relevance, the practical value of the
I
sanctuary.
želeo je da ispita dobrotu, odnosno praktične implikacije, praktičnost te istine o svetinji.
Now, if you've taken a course in philosophy,
Ako uzmete predmet filozofija
and you look at the classical philosophers,
i pogledate u grčke filozofe,
and you ask a philosopher, what is worth dying for?
koja je reč za koju se umire? I pitate ih, zašto se umire?
What are the three moral, what they call it is the triple star of value in life?
Koja je to trostruka zvezda vodilja životna?
And they will say, beauty, truth, goodness.
Oni će reći lepota, istina i dobrot.
This is aesthetics.
To je estetika,
This is ethics. down
ovo je
here,
etika dole,
and this is dogmatics.
a ovo je dogmatika između.
And these three are the triple star of value as far as the philosophers go.
I to je trostruka, kao što rekao, zvezda vodilja i za filozofe bila.
Now, you know, I don't really care what the philosophers say,
Mene trenutno ne interesuje puno šta filozofi kažu,
because they could be wrong.
jer oni mogu da pogreše.
But I do find it interesting that in the little book Patriarchs and Prophets, written by Ellen
Ali
White,
zanimljivo je da u knjizi Patrijarsi i proroci od Ellen White,
who I believe was a philosopher, an inspired philosopher,
ja verujem da je ona bila nadahnuti filozof.
she writes that in our schools today,
U našim školama danas, ona je
we
pisala,
should model after the schools of the prophets in the biblical times.
treba da imamo model proročkih škola iz biblijskog vremena.
And then she points to the teachers
I onda govori o profesorima, učiteljima.
and said that the teachers should endeavor to awaken in their students
Učitelji treba da bude u studentu
the love for
ljubav
goodness,
prema dobroti,
truth,
istini
and beauty.
i lepoti.
The very same three things that we find David looking for in the sanctuary.
To su 3 stvari koje Ellen White ističe, koje pronalazimo u onome što je David želeo da iskusi u svetinji.
And so for the next 24 hours now,
Sad već sledećih 24 sata
we want to taste the beauty of the Lord in the sanctuary.
želimo da iskusimo lepotu, krasotu Gospodnju u svetinji.
We want to dig deeply to see whether this sanctuary message is true, that as Adventists have been proclaiming it.
Želimo duboko da kopamo, da vidimo da li je ta istina o svetinji istinita, onako kako su je adventisti definisali.
And then we want to savor the practical relevance of the sanctuary
A onda
message.
želimo da ispitamo i praktičnu relevantnost ove istine.
What difference does it make that we believe this doctrine?
Kakve veze to ima, verujemo li ili ne u tu
How does
doktrinu?
it change our lives? How does it make us different people?
Kako menja naš život, kako nas čini drugačijim.
Okay, that's our roadmap for the next week.
To je mapa naša za sledeću sedmicu.
A quick question of clarification here before we take our break.
Da li ima pitanje za razjašnjenje pre odmora? Brzo nešto.
Okay, let's did you have a question?
Pitanja nema.
No. Okay. Let's take a 10-minute break and we'll be back
10
here at
minuta
10.
idemo do 10, dakle odmah.